morning. Good morning, guys. Hope you guys are having a great morning. Welcome to For those of you that are joining us this morning, please post in the chat where you're joining us from, what city and state you're joining us from, what's the weather in Newport. We'll be going live in just a few minutes. Also, please make sure you share this out. Share this out with your friends and family, and invite them to join us today. And if you are new to our channel, please make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you get notifications. Once again, thanks for joining us for Breakfast with the Brooks, and we'll be going live in just about 1 minute. Thank you. Good morning, guys. Hold on. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday morning. We will be joining you guys live with today's show in just a moment. Want to welcome those of you who are here for the first time to Breakfast with the Brooks. Please make sure that you subscribe and also ring the bell so that you can get notifications when we go live. Today we're going to be continuing our conversation talking about boundaries. So please be sure to share this out with your friends and families, and we'll be back live in about 30 seconds. Thanks, guys.
What's up, everybody? Great morning. Super excited. Got a lot going on. We're going to try and figure it out. Welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses. If you're just jumping in first time, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Also, put hashtag first time in the chat if that's you. The other thing we want you to do is make sure you chime in and let us know what city, what state, maybe even what country you're tuning in from. That way we'll know where you're at. Where to shout you out from. Hey, Michonne. Hey, Dana. What it do? Can y'all share this out to your friends? Have y'all done that yet? If you have, great. If you have not, do that. We'll be coming on in just one quick second, trying to get everything situated. Sheree's got a lot happening this morning. I don't know if y'all heard about the ladies' conference that she's going to be a guest speaker at this morning. Hey, Janelle. Good to see you in Breakfast with the Brookses. I hope you are recovering. Super excited. If you're part of the MAPS Relationship Academy, put hashtag MAPSRocks in the chat. Love it, love it, love it. Hey, Crystal. We'll get ready to get going in just 1 second. Appreciate that, Michonne. You always care stuff out, Michonne. I ain't never worried about that with you. Your folks probably get sick of you. What is she sharing with us? No, but I love it, though. I love it. Here's what I know, guys. I am not about to keep secrets to myself, especially when they can help people. So we're going to get started this morning. I'm super excited. Sorry, babe. I didn't bring your stuff this morning. All I can do is get myself in here. Figure it out. I apologize. You're looking at me with that side eye because I was being selfish this morning, guys. I apologize, baby. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about it today. Jackson, you doing the most. I have to calm yourself down, brother. Get ready to go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. What's going on, everybody?
Good morning.
Let me
Good
fix
morning,
my camera
guys.
angle here because I was playing with something with the other broadcast. You have to get your dog, babe. He's scratching my legs and it's hurting. You have to get him. You have to get him. What's up, everybody? Y'all do me a favor. Chime in. Let us know what city. I apologize. I'm just trying to get the angle on this camera right. I didn't get a chance to do that, Cherie. You don't have to look so disgusted with me.
But the table was sitting on my legs.
Okay. Do me a favor. Keep it rising up. Come on.
Trying to get myself.
There we go. There we go.
Good morning, guys. It is a lovely Saturday morning here in Virginia Beach. It was a little foggy when we first got up, but it looks like it's clearing up now.
Absolutely.
Hope you guys are having a great Saturday. Good morning, Janelle, Crystal, Michonne, Dana.
Dana is back.
Good morning, Damon and Marsha. Good to see you guys. Hope you guys have had a wonderful week. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Saturday. Today's going to be a busy day for me. As Glenn shared, I actually have the honor of speaking at a women's conference, a virtual women's conference later this morning. And so that's going to be exciting. I'm honored.
High five. What you going to be talking about?
I'm going to be talking about momming ain't easy.
Momming ain't easy.
Challenges that moms face today.
Wow.
In this new world that we're in.
Can y'all hear us okay? Because Cherie, you sound like you're dipping a little low. Can y'all hear us okay? Let us know. It's 8:05 Eastern Standard Time. What city are y'all representing? What's the temperature like? Shared. I appreciate that, Crystal. Thanks for sharing. Thanks. Hashtag MAPSRocks. I love it. I love it. Great to see the crew in here today, guys. We're going to talk about a few things that we've been dealing with all month long. And Sheri and I have come to the conclusion that things are just not going to fix themselves when it comes to relationships. Anybody ever been in a relationship where there's been challenges and you're having the same issues happen over and over again, but you can't seem to get to the bottom of it? Have you ever been in a situation where in your family, people continuously cross a line? There's a line that you've drawn in the sand and you said, hey, I need you to do this or I need you to do that. And they can't quite seem to honor their part. They can't quite seem to do that. That happens for a reason, and oftentimes it's because boundaries are not fully established. And so with that being said, babe, I want to talk a little bit about some myths concerning boundaries. And I was going to go in a different direction, but I just switched gears this morning because I realized that there are a lot of people that have these preconceived notions of what boundaries are, and they never properly set them up. They never properly said, can't say today, okay, no worries, Nikkei, it's good to see you. Hey, Sharon, Hampton, VA, good morning. Good to see you, good to see you. Mm-hmm. I know that, have you ever, before you got married, when you grew up in your family, did you know, put yes or no, if you guys grew up with healthy boundaries? Put yes or no in the chat. Yes or no in the chat. Just put yes or no.
I don't think we knew what boundaries were growing up.
Keep talking about that.
Yeah, I don't think that, and it's funny because I'm going to talk somewhat about this today at the women's conference, but I think that, you know, there were certain things, certain mindsets that our parents had that did not allow for real boundaries.
Right.
Well, I guess they were boundaries in a sense, but they definitely weren't healthy.
Right.
You know, children are to be seen and not heard. Things like that. So I think that, you know, there were very hard boundaries. I guess I'll put it that way. Are you kicking him?
No, I didn't do that on purpose. I was trying to get my foot put together. Come on, babe.
There were very hard boundaries in place, and they were more like walls,
Right.
than they were actual boundaries, because
Right.
it was like, this is the rule, this is just it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no room, no wiggle room. There was no room to move it or to expand.
Right.
And so even though I think that our parents' idea, a lot of times with those boundaries that they put in place, or those walls that they put in place, was to protect us.
Yeah.
And to protect themselves.
But they wouldn't have been considered boundaries.
No.
They would have been considered, you stay in your place, this is what I want you
Right.
to do. And when you said that, I think that the thing that hit the nail on the head, kids are more, kids need to be seen, not heard.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, if a child spoke up and they said they didn't like something or they didn't care for something, that was considered disrespectful.
Right.
Anybody come from that school? If a kid told you what they didn't like, God forbid at the dinner table you say, I don't like something.
No.
Anybody have that ever had that experience? Like,
Yeah.
I don't like broccoli, or I don't like green beans, or I don't like whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, babe, that was considered disrespectful.
Right.
So you was not going to go there in terms of protecting your own boundary or what it is that you like, because you thought it was even bad. So there are things that you would think that you'd never say.
Right.
Because then comes the consequence of speaking your mind. And that is you got to get popped. You get what I'm saying? And that sort of stuff, because at that particular point you feel like or they feel like you've been disrespectful. There are several myths that people have when they go into relationship, guys, and we're going to unpack a few of them. We don't have a lot of time this morning, but I want to go into why do we carry those things into our relationships. Great to see you, Todd. Todd's got his hand waving. Look, I understand, brother.
Morning.
I know what it's like, guys. And unfortunately, when children grow up in those kinds of environments where they are not allowed to share how they really feel about something, it creates a pattern that they take into their relationship. So myth number one, and I want y'all to put this in the chat. Not sure how many we'll get through this morning, but there's a ton of them. I just want to rattle off some things. Maybe we'll pick this up next week. But this is one of the problems in relationships, and you can't set boundaries. So real quick, before we get into that, I just want to let everybody know, if you're not a part of the MAPS Relationship Academy, we want to encourage you that if you're a couple, whether you're married or in a long-term dating relationship, you're a parent, maybe you're single and you're trying to position yourself to get married, a man or a woman, we want to encourage you to come and join the MAPS Relationship Academy. Go to glennpbrooksjr.com right here, right? And make sure that you subscribe, or not subscribe. Actually, all you want to do is sign up for a free discovery session.
Yes.
Here on YouTube, it's the links in the description. So you can that link is in the description below. So whether you're checking us out live or by replay, click that link, sign up for a free discovery session, and let's get ready to get it. Boundary myth number one. If I set a boundary, I'm being what, Sheri?
Selfish. And
Put that in the chat.
If I set a boundary, I'm being selfish. And I think that comes from, because I decide that I don't. Okay, so we'll deal with, we were talking about dating in our singles group this week, and a boundary oftentimes you may set is say, hey, don't call me after 10 o'clock, or don't come over my house after 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And if you're involved in a relationship, and if the person feels like they have garnered certain access to you, they'll feel like, oh, so now it's about you.
Yeah.
Like you putting up this boundary. It's like, no, I need to go to sleep at night because I have to go to work in the morning, so I'm putting this boundary. So now you're being selfish. So you just thinking about you.
Right.
This is all about you. And it's not that you're being selfish. It's just that you have created a boundary to protect yourself.
Right.
In a certain area.
One of the things I want everybody to understand really quickly, from a fundamental standpoint, boundaries are meant to either protect or provide. Mm-hmm. Put that in the chat. Protect and or provide. And a lot of times people get these two things misconstrued. Selfishness versus stewardship. Selfishness versus stewardship. Let me give you an example. Can I borrow your car? The answer might be no. I will say that you're being
selfish.
When for real I'm
being a good steward over what I have.
Why?
Because I have to protect I have to make sure I take care of what I've been blessed with. And if I know that you're irresponsible, or if I know that you have a habit of not caring for your own things, I'm not going to allow you to use something of mine because I need to be.
But you selfish though, because
No,
baby,
I'm
I
not
need to
being-
borrow your car
No,
because right now mine is broke down, and so you being selfish, man. Come on, let me just
No,
use your
I
car.
have to take care of what's mine because if something happens to it, you're not going to fix it.
Right,
I'm responsible
But I'm gonna
for
be
that.
late for work though. So you you're just
So-
not gonna let me? You're not even going to work today.
Okay, how about I drive you to work?
I got you, but I got some running around once I get there. You said you were off today. What's the problem?
I can take you to work if you'd like, but you cannot use my car.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear how that go? Y'all hear that dialogue? Why am I saying that? Because Sheri has a reason for why she's drawing the line.
Mm-hmm.
The object of it, I don't know if y'all caught that, but my car isn't fixed.
Right.
Why?
Because you don't take care of it.
Why? See, that's the hidden stuff. That's the hidden stuff, right? I don't take good care of my stuff, but I want to borrow yours, and now I'm going to be mad with you because you draw a line and say I don't want to do that. And what happens is, guys, is that people begin getting labeled. So now you're labeled selfish with your stuff, or you're labeled. In some families, so you better than me. Oh, so your car means more to you than it does than our relationship.
No.
She offered to take me.
Right.
She offered to help, but I didn't want that help. I wanted to be able to do what I wanted to do, and the reason why is because I am confusing the two.
You're selfish.
Because absolutely,
Honestly,
absolutely.
the other person is being selfish.
No, guys, I think that when people have a lack of boundaries, they don't take care of their things by default.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Let me help you understand something. If you are in a relationship with a person who doesn't take care of their own stuff, what makes you think they'll take care of yours? If you're in a relationship with people that don't take care of them, what makes you think that they will take care of you? If you're in a relationship with, and some of these may even be your children, where they don't know how to keep up with their own things, what makes you think they won't lose yours? Right? So I want you to get out of the mindset of this myth that says, well, if I set a boundary, then at that particular point, I'm really being selfish. Boundary number 2, or this is a myth. I want y'all to put this in. So myth number 1, we said that I'm being selfish.
Right.
Myth number 2, guys, if I set a boundary, I will hurt you. If I set a boundary, I will hurt others. What's going through your mind?
I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this.
Okay, let me help you. So, guys, listen. A lot of times, I used to find it very difficult to say no because my thoughts are, I'm going to hurt your feelings if I tell you the truth. I am finding a struggle to speak truth to you because in my mind, I'm trying to, quote, save you from something. We see this in our coaching practice on a regular basis where you'll have a situation where maybe there's some co-parenting going on and the person, his nails
keep
are
moving
ripped.
your hands.
I know,
That's
but
why it keeps jumping
I'm
to
telling
you.
you, we're going to have to hold them or
I'm
something,
teaching.
babe.
I'm
Yeah, I
trying
know
to-
it. Jackson has gone
He's
through
doing
his
very
second
good.
week of obedience training.
He's doing much better.
He's he needs to go get his nails clipped because when he jumps up, he scratches and boy does it hurt. So the other thing was Sheri is trying to train him to be able to stay down, and the problem is that I keep waving my hands down, and he keeps thinking I'm playing. So I'm breaking the rules.
Yes.
So I can't focus.
He was being quiet.
I know
being
it.
very
He
good.
really was doing good. Jax, you're doing a good job, buddy. I'm the one that need to observe the rules, right? Right. Look at him. Just crazy as a bed bug. Anyway, I digress. If I set a boundary, I will hurt you. I can't tell you how often, babe, I got in trouble by not telling the truth because my thought was, I'm going to hurt your feelings.
Right.
When really that is a mode of protecting myself from being rejected or protecting myself from really talking about the issue in the first place because I'm really concerned more about how it's going to make me feel.
Right.
The fact that I had to share that truth. Because in most cases, for me, it was because that truth was really going to hurt.
Right. And I think that I was going to say that oftentimes individuals who struggle with being people pleasers struggle with this one the most because you're so concerned about how the other person is going to feel about you, how they're going to, what they're going to think, that you won't erect a boundary because of the emotional part of it. You're so attached to the emotional part of it, you don't want them to be mad at you.
Right.
And so you'll put up with something in a relationship
Yep.
way longer than you should.
Absolutely.
You won't erect a boundary because I don't want to upset them.
Right.
I don't want to bother them. And that is rooted in a fear of rejection, a fear of, being left behind,
Right.
a fear of, of failure. It's rooted in fear.
Yeah.
Because you're fearful that if you tell the truth to somebody or if you put a boundary in place, that they're going to reject you. So
Right.
if I tell you, we'll go back to the dating situation. If I tell you, look, don't call me after 10 o'clock or don't show up to my house without calling, I won't say that because I'm fearful if I say that to you, you're not going to like me no more. You're going to be like, well, I ain't messing with you no more.
Right.
And so I'll put
Nobody.
up with you popping up at my house all hours of the night, disrupting my sleep,
Yep.
Messing up my schedule when clearly it bothers me that you do this, but I won't say anything. I won't put that boundary in place because I'm too afraid that if I put my foot down in a certain area, that you're going to leave.
Listen, this is one area. We're coming up on the holiday season, and this conversation is going on right now, and it's only October. Thanksgiving is coming.
Right.
You've got that particular family member that makes something that isn't good,
You ain't making that.
and they're bringing it to the Thanksgiving get-together every year, but it never gets eaten. And here's the problem. Nobody wants to speak truth to this person for fear of hurting their feelings.
Just ask them to bring drinks. Ask them to bring the paper products.
And
Give them something
Get 'em-
else.
right, but they'll bring that pile, that cake, and you're like, bro, that ain't good. And so what happens is either one or two things will happen. Either somebody will absolutely go completely overboard and hurt their feelings on purpose. Talking about, ew, this is nasty. I don't know what in the world. That's one extreme, which in many dysfunctional cases, that's the case. That's not speaking truth in love.
No, it's not speaking.
And then, or secondly, they will talk about you behind your back.
Right.
Girl, here we go. Mm-hmm. Hey, I brought my lemon meringue pie. Mm-hmm. Okay, just put it over there. We'll get to it. Put it on the dessert table, and then somehow throughout the night,
It disappears.
it disappears. Right, and then before you know it, it's like, yo, why is it that nobody? Oh, we was full, or or I'm dieting, or I'm like, you got all kinds of reasons. But the real reason, talk about the macaroni is soggy, the peas are crunchy, and the chicken tastes like wood, or whatever it is. Right? I know it. But the truth of the matter is that person needs to understand the truth.
Right.
But most often when you view boundaries as a situation where if I say this to you, it will hurt you, it will cause you not to draw the line and make them responsible for not hurting the whole family by bringing that horrible dish. So the way that could look is before Thanksgiving is over, even starts, it is you deciding to teach them how to make it properly. You having a cooking class over at your house, and it's you and all your sisters. Listen, we're going to play with some recipes that we're going to do for Thanksgiving, y'all. Come on over. This is a whole Saturday. What?
And I guess, and for me, you just had a conversation.
Right. No, I got you. I got you. And see, you're the one that err on the side of telling them all the way over. Like that's
Right. No, I'm not going to. No. You can, I see, and this is where the difference in our temperament shows. Because Glenn
Exactly.
is much more feeling than I am. And he wants to, I won't say dance around it, but he's going to massage
right
issue.
Right.
I am very direct. Now, I will speak directly in love.
Right.
But
no, but see, and I would push back on this part just right here. I'm not doing that to hurt to pad their feelings. I'm doing that because clearly they like making something that they don't know how to make.
Right, but even in that, you're still not telling them that what they made is
I absolutely
bad.
am going to
Okay.
tell them. You
Okay.
didn't let me finish. But
Okay.
I'm absolutely going to tell them.
Okay.
But the truth of the matter is I'm going to tell them in the confines of me helping them to make it right.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I don't know what is going on with my wife, but she got these. What's going on? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Because I'm telling you right now, folks, listen. I'm telling you, I had a conversation with a family member one time about how they wasn't going to confront the person, but they were comfortable with talking behind their back, and that irritates me.
Right.
You want to irritate me really quickly? Talk to me about something. Talk to me
else.
about something regarding somebody else. that you will not talk to them about. And you're going to catch the wrath, because at this point I'm saying, bruh, why won't you have that conversation with them? Yes, you go to them directly, speak truth in love. Yes, you let them know this is not good, but you figure out a way to do that. But I'm telling you, package the situation, because if you care about people, because I'm dealing with somebody that I really care about. This is my sister. I care about you. I don't want you to continue to do something that's crazy. So I am going to show you better than I can tell you. And then that gives me the permission to continue to speak truth. Why you keep doing something that you don't know how to do, or you're not willing to draw a line around. Does that make sense? Let's keep moving. Myth number 3. Put this in the chat. I'm not going to put up a boundary because it makes me come across angry. I'm not going to put up a boundary because it says that I'm mean. How many of you guys associate no with being mean? Put a 1 in the chat. How many of you guys associate telling somebody no with the idea of feeling like that makes you look like you're a mean person? Put that in the chat.
Or even if you're not accustomed to expressing when you're upset about something, because for you,
Jessica said the frozen pie pickup is a whole ministry. Jessica, we're not talking to you.
If you aren't accustomed to dealing with issues head on, if you're accustomed to not saying anything because you feel like, because when we get upset about things, you feel this thing inside of you.
Yes.
And if you have not learned how to manage your emotions, and you go from 1 to 10,
yes, that's
you're
good.
fearful of saying something because you're thinking you're going to go all the way there.
Right.
And so, but the way that you learn to do that is by your speaking up and saying it and expressing. You can be upset about something and not be angry.
Right.
You can be bothered about something and not be angry. And this is learning how to control your own emotions so that you can express how you feel to other people. And the thing you have to realize that when you're setting a boundary, you're not responsible for the other person's feelings.
Right.
You're simply setting the boundary based on what you feel is best for you, what you need, the boundary that you need to put in place. You can't predict or control how they feel about that.
Absolutely.
The only thing you can control is how you deliver it. And if you know that you don't say it in a nasty way, you don't say it in a mean way, that you're expressing to them your reasoning for why you're putting this boundary in place, and you're, like we said, you're saying it in love, how they walk away from it, that's not your responsibility.
Absolutely, absolutely. Damon and Marsha said, wait, but my cakes are good, though.
Yes, they are.
No, that is not a game. Marsha makes the bomb cakes. Yes. If y'all are looking for a cake, particularly her specialty is rum cakes. But she has derivatives of it. She even is playing with stuff where, it's just crazy. So anyway, y'all hit her up. Marsha, do me a favor. Drop your link in the chat and let people know how they can, because she ships them. She is a pro. I think out of all she shipped over 100 cakes, and only one of them came, the person called and said that it didn't ship right, and that was because of the way it was handled, not the way it was packaged. The woman ships cakes all over the country, so make sure you check her out. My mom just tuned in. Hey, Mom, good to see you. Good to see you. Y'all say hello to my mother, Patricia Palmore is in the building. That's your mama too. I know it. Don't get me started. Guys, we're talking about boundaries. For those of you guys who are just hopping on, the truth of the matter is that many times most of us have certain myths around boundaries that doesn't allow us to draw them. And we're talking about this idea of, and we said number 3 was, it's going to make me come across mean, or make me come across that I'm an angry person. And one of the things that I want to make sure I clear up is that here are some things our negative emotions tell us. Fear tells us to move away from danger, to be careful. Sadness tells us that we've lost something, a relationship, an opportunity, or an idea. But anger is also a signal. Like fear, anger signals danger. Remember, we said that boundaries serve to do 2 fundamental things. They protect and they provide. When you put up a boundary, what it does is it helps you to be able to identify where there's danger. In other words, if you're constantly if you're in a relationship where you cannot be yourself, you're in a relationship where if you speak up and speak truth, you're going to be perceived as some negative person or a bad guy because you're the angry person in the room. The danger in that is that you never get that communication out. And the problem is that you now harbor bitterness in a place to where it grows into something that will destroy your relationship. And the reason why is because now I'd rather not deal with you at all then speak truth. Because if you're going to perceive me to be angry, I'm just not going to say it. This is why I honestly believe you have siblings who do not talk to each other for years. I mean years. I know people who have been estranged for their siblings for 3, 4, 5, 7 years, never had a conversation with their biological brother or sister. And the reason why is because they've drawn a line. That line has been crossed so much that it is easier for me not to deal with you at all than to bring the truth into the room.
Right. And the other thing, too, when you are establishing a boundary, when you're putting a boundary in place, don't do it in crisis. Don't do it when you're upset.
Sheree.
Don't do it when, you're fed up and you're like, look, no more. We will not, you will no longer, no, don't. If you come across that way, yes, they're going to think you're angry because you are angry.
Right. Absolutely.
You are angry.
Absolutely.
And so you want to have those conversations about boundaries in a calm, in a normal tone, in a normal conversation. You don't want to do it in crisis, because when you do it in crisis, it is going to come emotional. It's going to be emotionally charged.
Yep.
Because you're feeling it at that moment. And so, like we always express to people, any conversation, when you got to have a deep conversation about something, an issue, you want to get your emotions in check first before you have the conversation. You don't want to lead the conversation with your emotions, because it's never going to go right when you lead it with your emotions.
Guys, last one that we're going to talk about today, because we got to get out of the way. Sheri is the guest speaker for a ladies' conference this morning over at Celebration Church. It's online. I don't know if you...
I think registration is closed.
Registration is closed? Well, okay. I was going to give you guys the link to where you can register. I know there's some NAPS ladies who are registered that's going to go over and support her. I appreciate that. That's going to be a good look. I'm excited about this opportunity for you. So we're going to have to get ready to get out of the way. But one last thing I want to give before we roll, and that is, I think this is now our fifth boundary. Stop, Jax. Cut it out, buddy. Boundaries cause feelings of guilt. That's a myth. Put that in the chat. That's a myth. Boundaries cause feelings of guilt. That is a myth. And the challenge is that many people will not draw a line in certain relationships because they believe that the act of drawing a line is going to make them feel guilty. That's not where the guilty feeling is coming from. It's not the boundary that's causing you to feel guilty. Listen to this very carefully. One of the major obstacles in setting boundaries with others in our lives is in our feelings of obligation. What do we owe not only our parents, but anyone who has been loving toward us? That's a question. What do you owe your parents, or not only just them, but those others who love us? What do you owe them? The idea of it is, and I need y'all to hear this, is that because we've received something, we actually owe you something. The problem is the non-existent debt. Here's what I want y'all to hear in that. You often think that because a person gives you something, you owe them that back. And that's not necessarily true. I need y'all to hear this. If Sheri does something for me, she's doing that because she wants to do that.
Right.
It is not my obligation to return that thing to her. Right? If Sheri decides, I've done this. I've given a car away before. Flat out given somebody a car. That person should not feel obligated to give me something back or to give somebody else a car. What that means is I simply show them an act of kindness. Now, when that person decides that they need to give something because they got something from me, then what will happen is oftentimes that's going to cause them to feel like that if I won't draw a boundary with somebody because it's going to make me feel guilty. I'm not going to tell them no to something because it's going to make me feel like that I should get something back. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. I want to help you guys by understanding this. A gift implies that there are no strings attached. The bottom line is that when we give love, the truth of the matter is it's a gift. I don't owe you anything but to love you. And so if I begin to draw lines around something because I'm going to feel guilty, I'm not going to tell you the truth because I'm going to feel guilty that I am not being able to, that you're going to now have to give me something back. That's going to challenge me not to give. Does that make sense?
Right. And I think that, when I'm trying to think how to, because I'm trying to think how to word this in a more succinct way. So basically, when we won't set a boundary because we feel like, so when you tell your children no, you'll feel guilty that you told them no.
Okay.
Because you feel like you've denied them something.
Right.
But you should not worry about them feeling like you denied them something, because the reason why you're denying them is to protect them.
That's it. Can I add to that? So I want to go with that analogy. A lot of times we won't tell our kids no because we feel bad, right? And I never will forget, my mother is in the room and she'll remember this. I will never. She said, by the way, at the conference, wear your red lipstick from last week. So that's a whole sidebar thing. Okay. I just wanted you, I don't know what, you might have to go back and look at the replay. I don't know if you remember what that was. But the red lipstick she wore last week, okay, Ma, she'll do this. I'm going to give y'all an analogy. Since my mother's in the room, she will remember this. I will never forget, I was 16 years old, and I wanted to drive the car. I wanted to go skating with my friends. And I wanted to borrow the car. And I will never forget when I had been doing well in school. I've been doing, for one semester in my whole life, I'd been doing the right things, right? Because I was not that guy. So I'm getting ready. She said I could go to the thing, but I had not asked her, could I borrow the car? And I said, well, hey, Ma, can I borrow the car? And she said, you know what? I don't feel good about letting you use the car to go to that event. So I'm going to have to say no. Well, I was upset, needless to say. Because in my mind, I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to do. Why can't I borrow the car? Here's the challenge. And we're talking about drawing a boundary, or people having the myth of, I won't draw a boundary because I don't want to feel guilty. So I'll say yes rather than feel guilty, if you will. I'm sure it made her feel weird, and I remember us talking about this later. I didn't know why I was saying no, although, and my mother is extremely, extremely close to God. I feel like her and God have relationships that, quite frankly, it's like, if you ever need a prayer to get through, I'm going to promise you call that woman, because God just hears her differently. I don't know what it is. Anyway. So she said to me, she said, you know what, babe, I just get a check in my spirit, and I just don't think that it's cool. Well, let me say this. I went on a rant. Well, I don't know why you're saying this. This is not fair. Y'all ever have your kids call the not fair card? This is not fair, right? When you don't have a real reason other than the no is the reason, and I don't feel good about it, I promise you it was not long after that she said yes, and I went out and had a major accident. The truth of the matter is that there are times you get a check. You can call it in your spirit. You can check it a thought. It's something that comes on you that says, you know what? I don't have a real reason. I just need to draw this line. Right. It could be your intuition, whatever you call that. If you think that setting boundaries will make you feel guilty, you will not say no when you should. And as a result of that, there are things and consequences that could happen as a result of you not drawing the line. I can tell you that you need to pay attention to that and dismiss the idea that drawing a boundary is going to make me feel guilty. The negative feelings that you have around a scenario has nothing to do with the boundary. They have everything to do with how you're feeling. The truth of the matter is the boundary is an inanimate object, guys. Right. It is a decision. It's to draw the line that says, no, this is what I am responsible for. I'm responsible for my car. I'm responsible for your well-being. At 16 years old, I'm responsible for you, not just to you. Right. So at this particular point, my no is just the end of that. No. And I can walk away, and when you can master that, you can walk away and not feel guilty. I don't care how much they rant and rave. I don't care how much they go on to the next thing. You can go on with your day as if nothing else happened, because you feel like you've honored the idea of drawing the line so that you can protect and or provide. Guys, that's all we got for today. I hope this made some sense. We're going to pick this up next week and pull apart probably a few more myths. It'll be the last week that we'll wrap up in our boundary series. If you are, put them on the floor, please, babe. If you are in a place where you want to grow in relationship, and you do not have a community to do that in, we want to encourage you to come and join the MAPS Relationship Academy. Again, if you are single, there's a place for you. If you are a couple, there's a room for you. If you are a parent, we have a room for you. We get together on a Zoom call. We talk about your specific stuff, and we help you navigate through that so that you can grow in life in an extremely healthy way, and do that very intentionally.
Yes.
Go to the website.
Yes, go to the website right here. If you are new to our channel, want to thank you again for joining us today. Please subscribe and ring the bell so you can get notifications when we go live and when we post new videos. And thank you for joining us this Saturday morning.
Here's what we know to be true, guys. You can't get to any place of significance
By yourself.
by yourself, because we all need some help. Yeah, I'm glad you figured out the chat too, Ma. It's great to have you. She finally figured it out, guys. Y'all be good, and we will talk soon.
Bye, guys.